Hey guys, we are continuing our summer TV conversation. I am at Marisa Rothman, or Marisa Rothman as the humans in the world call me.
Okay, I'm Danielle at Danielle TBD.
And this is our podcast, We Have Thoughts. So we're continuing our conversation with Under the Dome, which is a show we've podcasted about before.
Oh yeah. Very strong feelings in the past, and I'm okay. I'm assuming same, still strong feelings.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm pretty sure I vowed to stop watching it after season 1.
You did.
That might have been my vow. I think I actually might have said, let me see what the season 2 premiere is like, and then I.
But you say things like that a lot, but then you still watch them.
No, I don't, because I know I don't give up shows. It's very bad. It's a very bad habit to have, guys. But I really disliked season 1. Like, yeah. I disliked season 1 immensely, and so then, but I was like, well, let me see what season 2 looks like, especially when Stephen King was writing the first episode, and I watched the first episode, and I didn't hate it, and I was like, oh, this is probably the best episode of the series, which admittedly is not saying much. It went in a direction that I liked, killed off several characters, at least one of which I was like, good riddance, and then the rest of the season so far happened. And look, if you watched oh God, the things I just want to it frustrates me to the point where I lose my words. Like, I don't understand why this show is so terrible.
Well, I can tell you why it's so terrible.
I
can tell you why. Because and I will be very honest with you, I've quit the show. So I stopped watching prior to the what day is it? The August 4th episode. And I can tell you exactly why I quit and why I consider it terrible. Because they're still doing what they did in season 1 that I said I had a huge problem with the self-contained episodes of the week where problems arise and magically get solved in 45 minutes and they come out of nowhere and there's no rhyme or reason and there's no progression. And if you're treating the Dome like a character, which the show is trying to do, there needs to be progression like there would be with any other character. You can't just magically one day decide the sky is going to rain blood. You can't. You need to show in the environmental factors that are leading up to that. Or you need to show the Dome manipulating things in some sense of order or reason or, I was going to say value, but that's even a strong word. There has to be a reason and a justification for what's happening. And so my issue is really like all of the things that I felt should have happened in season 1 that are happening in season 2, such as some of these environmental factors coming into play. They're coming in, but they're not coming in a way that makes me want to watch because it's like a free-for-all. Like, you just don't know what you're going to get any episode. Yeah, the air quality should be greatly diminishing week after week, but we're not seeing that. They may do 1 week where all of a sudden people can't breathe, and then what's going to happen? They're going to go back to normal next week? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
The raining blood should have consequences that we're seeing carried over because it was acidic and it was so painful to anybody it touched. We're not seeing any of that carry over. It's a show that should not be on CBS because CBS has a very great model for what it is. They have a brand, they know what they do well, and what they do well is Case of the Week shows, and this should not be a Case of the Week show. And I will also say that what I really don't like about it is the fact that they made the Dome manipulate so much. Like, before, it was a fishbowl, and in season 2 premiere, I thought that's what they were getting to, was that, like, all of the things that you saw in season 1 maybe were not the Dome doing things. Maybe we were believing that because it was such a crazy thing and people were jumping to conclusions, and that they had the one thing I thought that fixed everything in my mind was the snow globe moment. And then again, like you said, they're just not doing any of that.
No.
And I mean, yeah, Stephen King's not writing the series, so yeah, okay, you're not doing what Stephen King would do, but you should still have some sense of logic and some sense of a thread.
I mean, it's also part of my problem is, first of all, the red blood, the red rain, whatever you want to call it, the effects were so
okay.
No, but that's something where if you're in a genre show, you should not have effects that are so terrible that I am either literally laughing out loud or close to laughing out loud because they're so bad looking. This isn't like a B-list. This isn't like Sharknado.
I was going to say, it's not sci-fi. They have money.
You have money. We see what CW is able to do on a lot of their shows with a much smaller budget. what the hell? Like, there's enough problems with the show that not having realistic effects should not be another factor in anything. I think another problem they've had is that, and honestly it's a problem a lot of sophomore shows do have, is that when you add new characters in season 2, which is a trend that used to be a network note.
You have to add. But you can't necessarily expand the world when you have a world that is trapped under a dome. You have a finite amount of characters.
You could, in the sense
I argued last year, I was like, it's so unrealistic for people just to randomly show up.
It's more of the issue of, for instance, there are some people in the town that we're not seeing. It's kind of like with Lost.
And I had a problem with that then too.
I mean,
I just think, like, focus on your core people and flesh them out and expand them. I don't need to constantly see people coming in for a week and then never seeing them again.
In the sense that where you have the people there if you want to utilize them, so it could be realistic, but it's not often utilized correctly.